Imagine this, an animal, maybe the size of a small house, badly hurt, fighting for its life. But he's not alone. There are dozens of people working around the clock. That's the story we're diving into today. It's about Bathiya Tusker, a magnificent elephant in Sri Lanka in a really critical situation. And our mission here is to sort of piece together what happened, using everything from YouTube clips and TV news to detailed reports in Ceylon today. We want to understand this huge, coordinated effort to save him and, what it tells us about conservation today.
It's a massive challenge, truly. And the sheer size of Bathiya, well, it just magnifies everything. The injury, the response, the logistics. It's not just about vets. It involves engineering, massive coordination, and just incredible human effort. As we get into the sources, you'll see some surprising details about wildlife care emerge and maybe some bigger lessons, too.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning, or near it. Bathiya's been getting treatment since late May, right? For a gunshot wound to his front right leg.
That's right. Initially, the focus was managing that specific wound, which is already a huge undertaking with an elephant.
But things got worse.
Yeah, around July 5th, it became clear the initial approach wasn't enough. The vets saw that antibiotics and helping him eat, it just wasn't cutting it. And crucially, he started having trouble feeding himself. That's a really bad sign. A systemic issue, not just the leg.
Right.
And that's when you see high-level people getting involved. The Environment Minister, Damika Patabendi, and his deputy, Anton Jayakoti, visited. They saw the scans, the blood tests, and really pushed for more urgent advanced treatment. The situation was clearly deteriorating.
And then, as if things weren't bad enough, July 6th, a really awful turn. He fell into a water pit.
Yes, near Menegama in Nicoaratia. He was already weak and then trapped in water, struggling to keep his head up. Just devastating.
God, how do you even begin to deal with that? A multi-ton animal injured, drowning.
Exactly. And that's where the response had to escalate dramatically. The Sri Lanka Army stepped in, specifically the 15th Artillery and the 9th National Guard.
Their expertise must have been vital.
Absolutely critical. Think about the logistics. Moving heavy gear, personnel into what sounds like a muddy, difficult site under immense pressure. They secured the area immediately, started pouring water on him to keep him cool, put up shade.
Practical, immediate actions.
And even built a kind of sand mound to support his head above the water, all while helping the wildlife officers with the actual rescue attempt. It was a massive, hands-on, immediate intervention.
Incredible. But despite how grim that sounds, there was some positive news soon after. Around July 7th, 8th.
A little bit, yes. A glimmer of hope, as it was described. Bathiya showed some slight movement in that injured leg. Not much, but something.
A sign he was still fighting.
Exactly. And the veterinary team, led by Professor Ashoka Dangola, they've just been relentless, continuous care.
This coordination you mentioned, it sounds extraordinary.
It really is. You've got the army units, wildlife officials, local people from the community all working together 24/7. And the tasks are immense. Keeping the water level right, using sandbags to stabilize this enormous animal, even bringing in a crane for positioning.
Wow, a crane.
Yeah, it gives you a sense of the scale. This isn't just medical care. It's like a complex engineering operation happening in real time around a living creature. Constant problem solving.
But the fight was far from over. Reports from Ceylon today, around July 10th to 12th, still sounded really concerning, describing him as collapsed in muddy water, still suffering from wounds. Not just the leg, but his head and ear, too.
Yes, that's where the picture gets even more complicated. Those reports mentioned Bathiya was showing signs consistent with chronic wasting disease.
Chronic wasting disease, that's a neurological condition, right? Often fatal.
Precisely. It's progressive, debilitating, and incredibly difficult to manage, especially in the field with a wild animal of this size. It adds a whole new layer of medical complexity and, frankly, a poor prognosis usually.
So more than just the physical injuries.
Much more. And this required bringing in even more expertise. A multidisciplinary vet team was formed. Specialists from the University of Peradeniya here in Sri Lanka, but also consultants from Germany and Thailand were involved. It became a global effort to figure out the diagnosis and treatment.
That really highlights how unique and challenging this case is. Continuous treatment for multiple severe issues.
Exactly. It's not just treating the gunshot wound anymore. It's managing potential systemic collapse and a possible underlying devastating disease.
So where does that leave Bathiya now? You mentioned ongoing treatment, small signs of responsiveness, but still critical.
He remains in very critical condition, yes. The treatment continues, the intensive support is ongoing. Those small responses are encouraging, but the path ahead is incredibly difficult. The big challenges are, first, pinning down that diagnosis, Is it definitely chronic wasting disease or something else presenting similarly? That uncertainty is huge. And then even if it is CWD, what are the realistic treatment options in this situation? For an animal this size, in the wild, well, sort of semi-wild conditions now, what are the ethics of prolonged intervention?
So, full recovery is.
Still highly uncertain, very much so. Every day is essentially a new battle.
Amidst all this crisis, though, something quite remarkable seems to have emerged. An idea for the future. The government announced plans to build a mobile wildlife hospital, specifically for elephants.
Yes, that's a really interesting development sparked by this crisis.
Given everything we've just discussed, the logistics, the difficulty of moving Bathiya, how could a mobile hospital change things?
Potentially, it could be revolutionary for Sri Lanka. Imagine having specialized diagnostic tools, surgical capabilities, intensive care resources, all deployable to remote areas where these elephants live. Instead of the immense challenge of transporting a critically injured multi-ton elephant, you bring the hospital to the patient.
What are the hurdles to making that happen, though?
Oh, significant ones. Designing a vehicle robust enough for difficult terrain, equipping it with specialized large animal gear imaging, anesthesia, surgical tools, that's a major engineering task. And staffing it. You need highly trained vets and technicians ready to deploy quickly. But the potential is huge. It represents a shift towards more adaptive, resilient wildlife care.
A model that could maybe be used elsewhere, too.
Absolutely. It could set a new standard.
So, thinking about our listeners, why does this one elephant story matter so much? What should you take away from this? It feels like it's more than just Bathiya, right? It shows this incredible human-animal cooperation, this resilience.
Definitely. It demonstrates what's possible when different groups, wildlife experts, the military, local communities come together. It forces innovation, like this mobile hospital idea. It's a powerful case study in large-scale emergency response for wildlife.
So Bathiya's situation is still precarious, but there's hope, underpinned by this amazing coordinated care. And there's this promise of future innovation.
Yes, the mobile units, the Army support frameworks, these could change things long-term. And it leaves us with a question, doesn't it? Given this intense effort, the medical unknowns, the sheer complexity of saving Bathiya, what does this whole deep dive really tell us about our collective ability globally to adapt? To innovate our conservation strategies when we face these escalating complex health crises in wildlife, especially with difficult diseases?
That's definitely something to think about. How do we scale this kind of response, this kind of innovation for the challenges ahead?